All right. Well, hey, welcome everybody to another Tech Tip Tuesday. Here it is, Tuesday, the 26th of May already, right? I mean, wow. I mean, every week obviously it goes by pretty fast, but the months are just screaming by. So anyway, we're diving right into summer pretty soon. I'm excited about that here in the Pacific Northwest. Tonight we're going to be diving into Healy and some cool stuff in the technical realm. If you guys are brand new to Tech Tip Tuesday, well, welcome. First of all, thank you for being here. And if you know somebody else that wants to join in, please send them the link and invite them on over. So what we do here is we are a chat-based forum of nothing but solutions. We come up with amazing solutions every time we're on this call. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your comment, or I should say your issue, in the comments, and we will unpack those as a collective. I am joined by Freddie Perez with our tech support group, and Jake Barron with head of operations, and we have Miguel with the magic fingers in the background from the tech support. So from customer service. So thank you guys for being here. I so much appreciate you. What we can't do is we can't treat, diagnose, prevent, or suggest anything around disorders, diseases, anything like that. But what we can do is we can solve the mysteries within the Pink Dot or the Blue Dot app, or technical things you might have going on with your Healy. And the cool thing, you know, Healy is a super sophisticated system, really ahead of its time, you know, and we have the blessings of being able to interact with it. So this is why this forum right here kind of came true to fruition, is because we're still teaching the world essentially how this system works. And of course, I'm a member just like you guys. So I've learned over the 2+ years I've been with Healy. I also bring my engineering background to the table and offer you guys the solutions and experience that I've obtained. So with that being said, how about we get this party started? Anybody?
Let's get started.
Let's go.
All right. Well, I see a question already in here. One is, what's the site to purchase t-shirts? So I love that one, right?
So we do the ones we're wearing are from some of the road shows from last summer that we did. We actually have a new company that just launched a few weeks ago. It's got all kind of a different look, different branded stuff, some accessories, also some business tools, banners, business cards, table throws, and those are all available. I put the link in the chat here, but it's healygear.com.
Healygear.com, everybody. So yeah, go in there and grab some goodies. So banners and table covers, those kind of things. If you're doing an event, you know, branding stuff really hits it home. You know, it looks super professional.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Sure.
Okay. We got a question in here. Someone has the natural cycle. By mistake that they hit the skip session a couple of times, not realizing what it meant, and can't get back to the original start session. Help. So the natural cycle, we're still gaining a lot of understanding around that. And Nuno did a pretty good job of kind of outlining the basics of the natural cycle. And also, I love what he said about being able to start it kind of anywhere, right? Because the system still supports you on a circadian rhythm basis, but there is a specific scheduled timing for your hemisphere or your time zone. So when you skip a session, just, you know, that's going to come again around tomorrow. So you know, maybe you skip that session for that particular organ within that particular time. That's okay. I mean, you're going to be able to come back around tomorrow, and there'll be different things that you're going to be needing to interact with.
So yeah, I'm just curious because I mean, most people, the start date, the trigger date's May 5th for most people, and I actually have not gone in past that because it hasn't started yet. But I just looked at it and I see the skip session part. When you click that, it goes to the next one a few days later, then a few days later. Since we haven't started yet, I would just try to delete your HealAdvisor app and reinstall, and see if that takes you back to the beginning. I'm actually going to try it during the call just as an experiment to see what happens. I click skip session, it went forward a few times, and I'm going to see if I delete, if it kind of goes back.
Yeah, so this hemisphere, pretty much we're all going to be starting about the same time, right? Because it's based on the Earth's position relative to the moon, the other planets. So, I mean, natural cycle is taking into account the circadian rhythm of the natural cycle of our planet, and then how that interacts with your biorhythmic systems. You know, every organ has an kind of an optimal operating time. And so that's, you know, based on the movement of the sun. Actually, not the movement of the sun, the movement of the planet, right? The sun's kind of staying, we're orbiting around that, remember? Anyway, the point is that this natural cycle takes into account that and calculates, you know, the rhythms of you, and then plots that out for you. So, and again, you know, I'm not familiar with all the cool stuff it does, because it does a lot of things in terms of how it's interacting. We're still learning too. I'm still learning also. All right. So anyway, Jake's going to experiment in the background while we're going forward in the foreground. Excellent. Let's see. Let's see. James says, we have multiple Healys, each with its own iPhone 8. We have many blue screens every day, sometimes 4 to 5 on one or more Healys. We restart the Healy, sometimes hard reset the phone too also, so nothing seems to stop the multiple blue screens. Please help. Thanks. So this is, I mean, I've heard this several times. When you're saying blue screen, I'm assuming you're talking about the Resonance app running the blue dot. So that blue dot, that particular app interacts in real time with the Healy hardware. Now, let's say a couple of conditions. When I always, here's where I start, folks. Is I start, number one, I start with the smart device itself. So the amount of resources, or the CPU, the memory, that kind of stuff, the amount of resources available to the app to operate the program is important. So if the smart device doesn't have more than 25% of its memory resources still available, there could be some issues with being able to interface between the read-write functions of the program and the Healy and the display. So remember, the display, what you see on the screen is still program. It's running to give you the proper content, all the colors, all the shapes, all the pieces. It requires memory. It requires CPU access, or the central processing unit access on your smart device. The CPU uses some of the memory to interface, you know, take content from the program, put it in the memory, and then upload it to the up to the display, and then so on and so on. Now, if so there's, number one, not a lot of stuff open. In fact, I tell everybody, don't have a bunch of, or any apps open in the background. Number one. Number two, you have at least 25% of your memory available to your on your device, on your smart device. Number three, it's not unlikely that there could be some sort of corruption within the app. All right. I mean, and you see Tech Support, Miguel put something on there suggesting that you open a support ticket to look into your case more. So this is because they're going to be looking at all kinds of things that that are maybe interacting with your smart device, your software version, that kind of thing. But if you uninstalled the app and reinstalled the app and relogged in, Now remember, when you uninstall and reinstall, after the uninstall process, turn your smart device off so that it can reallocate memory, it can reallocate the cache, it can reallocate what was being used by the app before, and then reinstall. Okay, so then you can see if that does any help. Those are some basics that I always talk about. Freddie, you want to add anything?
No, I was, you're spot on there. Not really much to add in there. I think what also helps is that when you put a ticket in support and you give those bullet points and give that information, the tech has a little bit more ability to go and check on the behind the curtain, if you will, than we can here. So we can go through, we can share a whole lot of different things that maybe we have tried, tested. Some of them work. Some of them may need that special attention that they're only going to be able to receive going through the tech support. Because if the tech support, say, for example, here in the US, if they can't resolve it with some suggestions, then it may have to be escalated up to a higher tech, which may be over in Germany, where they are able to collaborate. Again, look at more scenarios than we may have here to get a resolution.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thanks, Freddie.
So I was just looking at, I had a little private message and they were talking about a couple different issues. And one was that for some reason, it sounds like possibly their credit card on file didn't allow a subscription for their watch to go forward. So now it's they're not being able to use that software or that app rather. And they are having an issue logging in to their shop account to go put in a support ticket. And then it was the potential issue of not being able to reset the password. So you don't have to log into your back office to look at resetting the password. When you go into your back office, or you go, or not into, but when you open up your back office, right, ushealy.world or your shop account, then there on that front page, it says forgot password. Mm-hmm. So that's where you can go in and request to reset it. It's going to send it to your email that you have already set up as a member. And then at that time, when you open that email, you'll be able to reset it and then go back in and log in to your respective accounts.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So I just want to confirm that Pam's question about natural cycle, if you skipped a few sessions and are panicked because you can't get back, just delete the HealAdvisor app and reinstall, and it'll take you back to the part where it's going to calculate your start date, and you're good to go from there. So don't worry, you'll be able to participate from the beginning just like everybody else. So once you log back in, it'll take you through the setup process again.
Awesome. Real-time answers.
Yep.
I love it. Mary's asking a question about, or making a statement about that she's got a loaner resonance that has been idle for a couple of months and will not allow for the blue dot to connect in demo mode. Pink dot works fine. Uninstalled and reinstalled both apps several times, still not access. I'm not able to access the gear box in the running and to run an update. In other words, I'm assuming the little gear at the bottom right of the app. So if the addition that you have is not a resonance or above, then then that blue dot, it won't have demo. It won't have, it'll be an app you can open or you can have on your phone, but it won't do anything, right? If your addition doesn't have that function and you haven't logged in yet. So I don't know if that's the case. And especially if it won't run in demo mode.
Yeah, so she did confirm that it is a resonance addition, but I'm just thinking through the way that it works. If there's nothing specific in demo mode that wouldn't allow, it's not logging into your cloud account in demo mode. So there's nothing related to the Bluetooth specific in demo mode versus the regular mode that would change in that process. So if it can't connect in demo mode, can you log into your regular account on that, not in demo mode, and connect? Because if if that's the case, then there's, again, other than deleting the app and reinstalling, I don't know that there's nothing built into the app that would cause that issue.
So I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
I was kind of, go ahead. Kate.
No,
Yeah, I
you
was
first.
going to say, I was just thinking that what you just suggested, Jake, is to take it out of demo mode, go make sure if there's any updates that are pending, okay, that those are performed, and then put it back in demo mode and see if it's able to function in that demo mode.
Yeah, I guess you can't get to the gear icon though to check for updates, but you could check for updates through the App Store.
The key thing here, she says, this is my loaner resonance. So somebody loaned her a resonance, it sounds like. In other words,
that's the one that she loans out, I think is what she's
or
saying.
loaned out, whichever
Yeah.
way. It's still one that's just in demo mode, only going to function demo.
Yeah.
So there's really not an update process in demo mode. None of the content, so when you do scans or put in clients, any of that stuff, there is no update. The word demo is in place of the gear, right? Because there is no update function. And there's nowhere for it to update. It only lives on the app. So if you delete the app, all of the scans, all of the clients, everything you put in, up to that point are deleted. And so there's no way to run any kind of backup.
I was gonna say it's very rare, but there can be issues with specific routers that prevent certain data from being transferred back and forth. Our tech team has done some Zoom calls recently where switching to a different router within someone's own home has switched or fixed the issue of not being able to connect. So I wonder if you have the ability to switch from Wi-Fi to cellular, or take it with you and connect to a different Wi-Fi network to see if that fixes the issue, or try connecting to a different smart device on a different network as well and see if that works.
Well, let me go over that process for just a second, because once the Blue Dot app or the HealAdvisor Analyse app is installed on your smart device, and then it finds a Healy. In other words, you connect to a Healy, whether it's in demo mode or not in demo mode. Once it connects, you don't need Wi-Fi. You only need Bluetooth. There's no need for an interface between the app, right, and the outside world. It's the interior world, which is the Bluetooth interface, is the only two ways that they communicate. So unless you haven't even breached the login part, where you're able to actually get into the demo mode, that's where it's going to need to have a Wi-Fi access interface of some sort. So I'm just wondering where you follow me there, guys? Where is the disconnect happening?
I was kind of thinking too, maybe if it's a phone, I don't recall if they're saying they're using a phone, maybe to make sure that the operating system is up to date, because if there's some, pending updates in there, that might be causing a little interruption with that program as well, or that app.
Yeah, I don't know. So, when you loan out a device and you've already placed it in demo mode, it should be fully functional, with or without a Wi-Fi, because it's only interfacing with the Bluetooth in real time. Here's a comment here about what do we do if we didn't get the email to purchase the natural cycle program when we were promised when we were supposed to get? So that initial offer for the natural cycle was like just a few days after it was launched, and that sorry, that's over. There wasn't a way to go back and get that.
There was, that's true. There was not a way to go back and get it. There were quite a few people that either didn't get the email or didn't get it in time, or they tried to and the code didn't work for them. So we have been, if you were in that group that did buy the ticket to the event, if you do submit a support ticket, our team should be able to help you out as far as being able to get that. But don't wait any longer and do that soon, because I think it was about a month ago now, actually, what the event was. So
Yeah. See if customer support can help you there.
yeah.
Okay. So Lizzie's saying that I'm still having issues with sync taking 3 times. Sometimes the first round it runs for an hour and then stops with an error message. And I'm assuming the error message is a timeout error. Someone in their downline is having the same issue. All apps closed, fully charged, and I will try to uninstall. So that synchronization process sounds like where your hang up is. And I would be really interested to know if, what's the data stream that you're using? Is it Wi-Fi or is it the data on your mobile device within your service? Yeah, let's see if she brings anything else up.
You mentioned something about the databases too, that there's
Okay.
not substances listed.
So there's nothing listed in the substances under the Bach and Schindler salts databases. So it's quite possible that there's just something not downloading on your master key on your account, which would be as you said, you submitted a customer support ticket after our last Tech Tip Tuesday. Did you get any response? I mean, is there, here's something that I know, Jake, you're going to talk about this tomorrow is, if you guys are going back and forth with tech support and you're not getting resolution, there's also some live support. There's ways in which we can get this solved. So I'm wondering, are you making sure that you're making a comment when tech support sends you an email and asking for maybe more content, more details, more whatever, that you go back into your ticket and make a comment there to answer their needs, because the emails aren't replyable. So make sure that interaction's happening. I know that some people, they get a reply from tech support and they don't reply to it, and eventually tech support's going to close that ticket. So I don't know if your ticket's still open. You can comment on it and put more details in there. Guys, you want to add anything to that one?
No, I mean, as you mentioned, our tech support team does book Zoom calls through the ticketing system. So if it's something that you've maybe come to this call and we haven't been able to help, if you do go ahead and submit a ticket and it's something that they're not able to solve, within 1 or 2 replies, typically they'll send a single use booking link for a Zoom call, and then you can book an appointment directly with one of them, and they'll try to assist that way. So it really depends on the issue that's being the topic of the issue that's being submitted. So
okay. Jake, just not to personalize this, but I have helped Lizzie. We've had a couple of different Zooms. We've tried and explored many different options, and we didn't get any change in results. So I don't know, maybe you could suggest that she go ahead and replies to that last case number, and maybe requesting a Zoom to see if tech can maybe explore and give some options that we haven't been able to discover.
Yeah, there's definitely something unique. If this thing is persisting, I mean, Healy works. It's just sometimes there's something associated with your particular account that's just not allowing the portal to connect. And Mary's talking about something similar here, that her model is a resonance, and that she just cannot log into anything. Okay, so what's going on there? To log into a resonance requires a master key. And if that master key is corrupted, something's not right, something's not wrong, or something with your account. In other words, an email address, right? If you've been able to log in before and suddenly you can't, something changed. And we need to get customer service in on this to be able to go through your account with a fine-tooth comb and find out what it is. And so, Mary, submit a customer service ticket, and let's see. The Pink Dot app is the easiest one to function. It typically runs easy because it's not relying on a 4096-bit encrypted code to access content, right? It's a much more simplistic system. So it's the Pink Dot app, the most complicated connection with it is the secure Bluetooth interface, the handshake with the Bluetooth. It's not like a headphones or a microphone or some other Bluetooth interface with your smart device. It's not like that. It's different. The Healy has a Bluetooth chip that is either activated or deactivated by the app. And so the Healy, you have to turn it on first. So it sends out a kind of a homing signal. And then the app sends back a handshaking signal for the Bluetooth to actually engage and connect. If you do it the other way around, it 90% of the time doesn't work. Okay. Now that's with the Pink Dot. That's the most sophisticated security part it has, aside from whatever edition you purchased and the programs that are assigned to it. But the Blue Dot, many more checks and balances in terms of security. So let's get CS involved with that one. So James is saying something about it takes 4 more tries before it opens. So if you're talking about it takes a while for that app to open, I'd be really suspicious about the integrity of that app.
Well, that, and also, so I mean, this happens a lot if you're around a lot of other Bluetooth devices, to where this happened in our old office here in Orlando, where it was when we first got started, it was just me. Then we added up more and more people, and we were in this small little sort of co-working space, and there was 15 of us trying to all connect to our Healys. And a lot of times you try to open it, it doesn't open, and you have to actually leave the room and walk down the hallway before you can actually connect to your Healy in the Pink Dot app. And then in our new office, we got a lot more space, so that doesn't happen. But that is typically when there's too many other devices around, whether it's other Healys or other computer, equipment, any other Bluetooth things. If you're around a lot of other interference, you will get it where it doesn't even open. It just goes, try to open, immediately close, open, immediately close. So I would try going to a different location, different room, walk down the hallway, if you're having that type of experience.
Absolutely. So Lizzie does come back and comment about her Wi-Fi connection being 3G out in the boonies. So, I mean, when it comes to data transfer within the Blue Dot app, remember, there's a lot of content. Have you guys been in your databases? Have you seen the databases in there? That's a lot of content. All right. And those are packets that wind up downloading from a mysterious cloud up in the orbit somewhere. And then it brings that down into your app. And this synchronizing process, all of the scans you do, all of the clients you enter, if it's been 48 days and you have 390 different pieces of content to synchronize, and you're on 3G, it's going to take a while, if it even operates. I've had people that had to come from out of the desert in Sedona into town to a Wi-Fi hotspot where they could actually operate their downloads. So don't be surprised if that is necessary.
So she also she mentioned that the Wi-Fi is high speed in a bank building, and I'm wondering if you're connecting to the bank's network, that there could be something specific to that network preventing, as we mentioned earlier, related to certain settings on the routers that could be preventing this. So I don't know if it's your own personal network within this bank building or the actual bank's network, guest network, whatever. But that would be something that I would think there's certain settings on a bank's network that might be different than a personal one. So I don't, just a thought. But
Yeah, anytime you're interfacing via a Wi-Fi network, the Wi-Fi network that you are piggybacking on is going to have protocols set based on whoever owns it. So there may even be bandwidth allocations. So what a bandwidth allocation means is that each user only gets a certain amount of space. And if bandwidth is too narrow, you're not going to get the flow rate. So look at bandwidth as say water is the data, and say a garden hose is the bandwidth versus a fire hose. So in other words, you can get more water through a fire hose than you can a garden hose. So if you've been allocated a garden hose and you need enough water that's going to come out of a fire hose to operate your system, it's not going to work. All right. Does that make sense? I mean, bandwidth allocations allow for a Wi-Fi user to have multiple users on it at the same time, but not slow it down for everybody. So they just allocate certain amounts per user. And I don't know if your bank system is that way or whatever. I don't know. Let's see. James is talking about, I'm way back here, guys. I don't know if you guys are anywhere ahead of me. Professional Healys on the pink dot very often go to white or black screen before they open and let us use it. It usually takes closing the app and opening again 4 to 5 times before it actually opens. Okay. So again, how many other things are open in the background? Is there anything? I mean, how clear is the CPU or the processor? How much resources does it have to operate just the pink dot app? If this is consistent, and it doesn't matter if it's the professional version or if it's the the holistic, but if this is consistent with the pink dot app and it's giving this failure or this white or black screen, I'd be real suspicious again of the app. First, suspicious of the resources it has to operate in the first place. Secondly, if the app has any updates or failures that are assigned to it. I know. I mean, remember, if you guys are deleting an app and then just going right to your app store and reinstalling it, not turning your smart device off, there's going to be residual content in the cache. So you need to actually clear the cache or shut the device off before you go and reinstall it. So you kind of clear all the slates.
Yeah, I know we've worked a lot of I work with a lot of folks in that sequence of the steps, right? Turning off the Bluetooth, going in and deleting the app. And that's another thing I discovered here. Some folks, they weren't actually deleting, they were just removing it. They removed it from the home screen. And so removing from the home screen doesn't give the app the ability to reset. So you need to delete the app, then turn off your phone. As Ken mentioned, right? We're looking at clearing those caches that exist here on your smart device as well as in the Bluetooth, then reestablish everything. And you may even want to do a hard reset on your Healy device as well. Then you go through those steps kind of in reverse, turn the phone or smart device on, go into your settings, turn your Bluetooth, go in and reinstall the app, and then start fresh, almost like a reactivation. And then that way you get that more current playing ground versus having pieces of a puzzle that may not fit just because of one variable or another.
Yeah, absolutely. The look at YouTube, guys. You've heard me say this before. Go to YouTube and search how to hard close an app, how to hard close an app, and how to delete an app. You'll see the functions when you just close an app, and go to your home screen, open another app. All these apps are running in the background. Hard closing an app then actually turns the program off within your smart device. It doesn't delete it, just turns it off, completely off. So it's not, these apps do these seek and return functions. In other words, if an app is say it's your email app every now and then it goes out to the cloud account for your email, looks to see if there's any brand new emails, and then imports them into your smart device. So it does that, keeps doing it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth at certain timed intervals, whether you are monitoring that app or not. If it's open in the background, it's doing that. So what's that doing? It's consuming resources in two fashions, actually three. One, it's using the Wi-Fi connection or data stream connection to go out and check for the email and bring it back, all of its contents. Two, it's using CPU resources, right, to do that, the operating that function. And three, the memory of your smart device has to put it there. All the emails have to sit on the memory of your smart device. So if you're trying to do a backup within the Blue Dot app, and there's this stuff going on in the background, what do you think is being slowed down? That, remember I said that bandwidth is being closed down because other apps are utilizing that same bandwidth that you're trying to allocate for your Healy operation. So you see how that function works in the background?
And then, Ken, I know you've addressed this on several occasions as well, but you also need to take a look at how much storage you have available on your smart device. Because if you're, at 80% or higher in capacity, that could be affecting it as well.
Yeah. If you guys, like I said, I always say you've got to have at least 25% of your memory resources available, free, clear, at least 25%. That means 75% of your memory is being consumed with, apps and pictures and data and content. That's kind of like the threshold. You could maybe push it to an 80-20 rule, but
Yeah, I mean, James, we can't always fix everything live on the call, but I know Miguel recommended to put in a support ticket. I know you said you would go ahead and do that. This looks like something that our tech team might need to look at, sort of what's going on behind the scenes related to possibly the activation of some of these particular Healys, but go ahead and submit that ticket and they'll definitely take a closer look to see what's going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Where are we here?
We're pretty much caught up at the bottom here. The next question I have is from Linda. It's asking what smartphones are people using for accessory Healy use? I guess, a dedicated sort of phone just for the Healy. All I have found in an old iPhone of my own requires some sort of connection. So if you have an old iPhone, you might not be activated for cellular service anymore, but you should be able to still use that with Wi-Fi as a sort of a standalone device just for your Healy there. Unless it's a really, really like the first iPhone ever, maybe not, but anything other than that, something within the last several years, really. I mean, probably what's the oldest iPhone that
you can run any device, any smart device in an iPhone, an Apple device that will run iOS system 11 or above. 11 or above will do this. So 11 was, way back like the iPhone 6, I'm pretty sure that you were able to run 11. And again, depends on the 6. Some of the SEs, the 6 SE, which is a small frame. It's got a smaller screen versus the frame. You'll run into some problems because you can't actually activate some of the functions because they're below the screen display radius. So, but above that, you're fine as long as it'll run the proper operating system.
Hey, Ken, didn't you have a iPhone 5?
My oldest is a 6.
A 6. Yeah, I have a 6S, but I was working with someone that had just a 6. And on the 6, I think it was a 12.5 or something like that was the highest iOS, and they were able to run it fine. And so I checked on my S, and I actually could get loaded up to 15.4.1, which is the most current and I was surprised that it happened on a success. So,
Yeah.
but then I had to go in and I had to adjust some of the storage, because that's why I said 80, I had 82% was taken. When I got it down there to 50%, then it was working fine again. So yeah, that's important issue, that storage capacity being used.
Yeah, and if it's an old phone that you just found, maybe it's been sitting in your drawer for a few years, like as she mentioned here that it's not working. It's just saying it doesn't have a connection. So maybe it's something where maybe you've changed your home network, your Wi-Fi network, and need to reconnect to that. Maybe Bluetooth isn't enabled. So I would really, if there's nothing of value on that device, you could just wipe it clean and start over, a fresh install, the newest operating system, and kind of go from there. If it hasn't been used in a couple of years. So.
And I was going to say that too, a factory reset on it,
yeah,
and then get it charged up, and then go in there and see what the current, if it's an iPhone, iOS, or what the current operating system will allow it to update.
Yeah. She said she thinks it's a 7, so that should work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with remember the phone itself does not have to have a cellular subscription, because every one of these smart devices have the ability to piggyback on a Wi-Fi, no matter where you go, whether it's your home network or a bank or a coffee shop. But what's necessary is to have the login credentials for that Wi-Fi. So there's some settings on your device. Go to YouTube and find out, how do I connect to Wi-Fi with my smart device, my iPhone 7 or whatever. And there's settings in there that you can actually set it to automatically search out Wi-Fi's within the area and ask permission to connect. I mean, there's all kinds of cool things you can do with your smart device. It's kind of smart. I mean, it'll do, you can set it up to do things you want. Now when I say it's kind of smart, it is not intelligent. It is not intelligent. Intelligent means that you can count below or above a 1. Digital devices only work in ones and zeros. It's all digital. It's all simply data. So anyway, let's see what else we got.
So Linda was coming back in. Does it require internet? Well, if you don't have internet in your home, okay, you still can go out in public, for example, and connect to a Wi-Fi. Okay, so your Wi-Fi internet basically synonymous. You do have to have access to internet Wi-Fi service, whether it's in your home or in public.
And if you go to a coffee shop, I mean, they're all free. You know, Wi-Fi's are free everywhere. Everybody's doing that as a service because they want you to come in and buy something and sit and use their Wi-Fi and buy more something and buy more something. I mean, they want you to come in and hang out. So, so definitely do that.
Free Wi-Fi is like a magnet. Come in here. We want you to sit down for a minute, right?
Exactly. So there's a question here asking me privately, do I assist Healy with via Zoom appointments individually? So that's actually something Freddie's been doing for a long time. He's very familiar with that, aren't you, Freddie?
Just a little bit.
So you want to tell him how to do that?
Well,
we're kind of.
Jake, I'll let you address that question, Jake, or that comment.
Yeah, so
talk about that tomorrow.
we can talk about it a little bit here with our Tech Tip Tuesday family. But
Yeah.
you know, Freddie's been helping us with Zoom support for over a year now with us. It was March of 2021, I believe. Yeah, March of 2021 when I first started. And you know, when we first started with this support, really, Freddie came in at the right time because we needed a lot of assistance. You know, it was as soon as Freddie came on, there was a 2-week wait to get an appointment, and Freddie was doing appointments 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. So, you know, that kind of shows the how much we needed to improve our own internal tech support. Really, is kind of what that showed. And, you know, over the last year, you know, 10 or 12, 14 months, our own team has improved a lot. We had a few people that were considered tech support, but not we didn't have the full training and capabilities to really handle all of the tech support issues. So a lot of this was being handled by our teams in Germany, and there was with a time difference and language differences, and it just wasn't, it really wasn't a great experience. But we've improved tremendously since then. We're not where we need to be yet, but we're definitely have made tremendous progress if you look at it from where we were last year. And we have we have a 5-person tech support team here in the US now. We also, as of about 2 weeks ago, every single tech support ticket that comes from the US is handled by our US team. So there's not this back and forth with Germany, which is a huge step actually. And there are other rare cases where there might be something specific to product development or something like that, where we might have to kind of get assistance from somebody. But our tech support team here is amazing, and every day we're getting better. And we are actually, we mentioned it earlier on this call, booking support appointments for Zoom calls within the ticketing system. So it's not an open system where you can just go to a separate web page and pick a time for us to support or help with whatever. It starts with a support ticket so we can see what the issue is. And if it's something that we've determined does require a Zoom appointment, everyone on our team has the ability to send a Zoom booking link, and you can pick a time that works for you on your schedule, and we'll do a 30-minute Zoom call with you. So it's a kind of a long way to explain that, because Freddie's been doing this. Again, we're doing 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. In January, we kind of scaled that back a little bit to 2 days a week, 8 hours, or 8 hours a day. Is it 8 hours a day? I think it's less than that now, actually. But anyway, the plan is effective May 1st that all Zoom appointments will be through our ticketing system with our own tech support team. And that's really kind of shows how much progress we've made and how much Freddie's been able to assist us along the way. I mean, if you look at the demand for the Zoom appointments, it kind of goes along with the improvements we've made as a team as well, because it's not a 2-week wait for these. So it's again, we've made a lot of progress, and we're continuing to improve and get better every day. And Freddie's been a huge help. I mean, really, without him, the last 14, 15 months, we would have been in a much worse spot. But we're taking things to the next level here. And so yeah, if you do want to need help with something specific, it all starts really with a support ticket, and we take it from there.
So let me just kind of piggyback on that too, just a little bit, Jake. So just so everyone knows, and we're going to announce this, I believe, tomorrow on the What's Up Wednesday call. Friday is going to be my last day that I will be helping in this capacity. In other words, with the Zooms that you could book that time, and you and I would work together to resolve what issue you may have. Okay. But I do have to say this. See, I had the honor and the pleasure, gosh, Jake, what was it? 6, 7, 8, 9 months ago, when Jake asked if I would come in and kind of start helping the team, right? The existing team.
Yeah.
And so we went through, what was it? Almost 2 months of training where we were showing them what I was doing on the Zooms, and, different ways that they were going to be able to interact. So as they continue to gain the knowledge and gain more familiar, and now more of things that are handled here stateside, right? Doesn't have to get shipped off outside, right? They're well prepared. I mean, even, our great Miguel here with us tonight, right? He got in a part of that too. And I got to tell you, they're brilliant. I mean, these folks, they're truly dedicated to helping each individual resolve their issue. Doesn't mean they're going to get it necessarily the first try, but that's what they strive for 100% of the time, to get it resolved in short order, because you and I both know the Healy works. And when it doesn't work the way we need it to, people jones for it. It's almost like we're addicts, right? I got to use it every day. I got this going on. I got that going on. I need to help some family, some friend. So they're well aware, right? Very well aware of the needs out there for everyone's Healy to be working properly. So I say all that so that you understand, have the most confidence that the support team there not only is at top shelf, but they keep raising the bar for themselves internally so that they can help each and every one of us out here to utilize our Healy devices to the optimum. So thank you so much, Jake. It's always been a pleasure. And I'll still be coming in and out over here on the Tuesdays and the Thursday calls. See if I can gain a little more knowledge myself. So back over to you guys.
Thanks, Freddie. It's a little sad thinking about it. It is, because it's been such a huge help, and it had such a huge impact on everything. But so thank you.
100%.
So much.
I appreciate you, brother. It's so good.
But I tell you, I look forward to seeing you guys over there at that special event coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're all going to be hanging out together pretty soon.
Yeah.
You know, I do want to attest to that. There's the leaps and bounds that Healy has made since this corporate team, since Jake has come on board, right? The talents that he brings, Adriana coming on board, you know, and then bringing in Luciano. You know, the tech support group has just evolved into an amazing family and team. And I'm, you know, things like Jake was saying, things are being solved in real time, you know, I mean, obviously here, but also with customer service. So we have come a long ways. I've been here 2.5 years. Freddie, you and I, brother, we're the old veterans, right? The old timers, the pioneers, and we've seen it. I mean, we had to step up and create some tools and bring whatever we had to the table. And now lots of help going on. So thanks, guys.
Well, I'll tell you, when you say pioneers, you know, I remember first time we met, right? We just knocking a little of that dust off the trail, being pioneers, pulling arrows out of each other's back, because we knew, right? We knew where Healy's going. And we just know that I have the most confidence that, you know, just like anything that's worth having, that's worth waiting for any kind of corrections, bumps in the road to get smoothed out, because in the end, we'll look back on these days, Ken and Jake, you know, just think about a year ago, where we were at and where we're at today. It's almost like night and day. I mean, it's just been a true pleasure. I thank everyone for all the wonderful comments you've made here in the chat too. Definitely, it's been an honor to serve.
Right on. Well,
okay. We got a few minutes left, so let's do a couple more questions. So there was a follow-up related to the sync issue that they were having. So it was a question of if she's able to finally get this to sync. So she has 2 Healys that she uses on one phone, and then she has 2 iPads. If she can finally sync one to the cloud and then delete it and reinstall, would the info sync to the cloud be synced back onto the device when she reinstalls it? So yeah, so once you've synced it to the cloud, if you delete it and then pull back in, loading in your master key, that information will come back to whatever device you install it on. Mm-hmm. So yeah, once you get one, you're good. So.
Now remember, I want to clarify too, that's super convenient, right? When you've got one Healy. So let's say you got 3 Healys on your account. They all utilize the same master key. They all utilize the same cloud account. But if you have one Healy on device A and Healy number 2 on device B and Healy number 3 on device C, if you only sync one of those, all of the other readings, all of the other clients, all of the other lists that are generated on device 2 and 3 are not in the cloud. So the only thing that's in the cloud is the one you actually sync. Okay. So this is not necessarily the Healy, but the app itself. The app contains the content, all the data. The Healy is just the portal in which it interfaces the quantum field. And the master key is the key that unlocks the access to your cloud. See, so we're looking at kind of 3 different areas here, but your account only has one master key, but you can collect content in multiple apps. So I can go and do a session with Freddie on device number 1, my iPhone. I do a session with Freddie. We do an awesome session. I put his client information in there. I do a scan. I got all kinds of great lists that we generated from our session. And then I just put that guy aside and I go and grab my other iPad and my other Healy, and I go and have a session with Jake. And we, same thing, great content, great lists, great generation. And then I just sync the one that I used with Jake. All of Freddie's content is not in my cloud. Okay, that's a separate app. Okay, separate content, separate interaction. I can go back to that particular app and sync it to the cloud. Now both Freddie and Jake's content is in my cloud. And if I go and open a third device and do a sync, both of their content's brought down to the third device. You follow that? So it gets a little bit, confusing. You're like, well, how come Freddie's content's not in my cloud when I went and synchronized on the other device? Well, that's because I never did upload it to the cloud. Okay. So hopefully that helps. I want you guys to understand that it does require us to do a little bit of a diligent backup process, especially when you have multiple devices. Make sure you back up each one. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. We got about 3 minutes here. Let's see. I was thinking trying to do 2 devices. Oh, okay. So I guess I answered your question, Lizzie, ahead of your question.
Yeah. So that was next week's questions.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
So here's a question for you, Ken. So I have 2 Healy devices. I have an Apple and I have an Android. I run those separately, right? I run programs separately. We'll say Blue Dot. I sync both of those under one master key. Are they all the results going to show up on either one of my smart devices if I've synced everything?
the next time that you do a full sync on whether it's your Apple or your Android, so you've taken the Apple and the Android, you've synced everything to the cloud, right? And then you take the Apple and sync it again. Then the content from the Android will be on your Apple. Yes. So this is the cool thing about it, right, guys? You can have 4 or 5 Healys out there. Your whole family's using them, right? And they're doing different stuff and all that kind of stuff. If they're all syncing to the cloud, all that funnels to the one cloud. And if you want to see how your family's doing, then you synchronize that content to your device. Now, if you guys go on a road trip and everybody leaves their Healys at home except for you, guess what? You got all the family's content. You can do all the work you want. All of their records are there for you to access and run their favorite programs just by doing that one sync. So, but each device has to make sure it synchronizes to the cloud. That's the funnel. And then once everything's in the cloud, you can download all that content to any other Healy any other app that's associated with your Healys on your account. So it's all based on the app. Okay. So yeah, absolutely, Freddie. Yeah, that's cool, isn't it? I mean, I love being able to synchronize. Yeah. All right. Last question here before we got to go. Sorry to say that, but we got to go. Different question. If I scan and a local program comes up and says to place the electrodes next to the problem area, but I didn't know that I had a problem area, then what? I love that question. So yeah, you're doing a scan, it says local stimulation, right? And you're going, wait a minute. Now, this is where you would listen to your body, right? So it comes up local stimulation. And what's local stimulation? But addressing what? A discomfort of some sort. All right. So if you have no discomforts on your body, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. But just sit in it for a moment. Now, discomforts doesn't mean that it has to be a pain. You could have something that's just not comfortable, right? What's that mean? I mean, we're not even aware of our stomach until it gives us a problem, right? We're not aware of certain body parts until we have a discomfort. But yeah, so search your body, search it over. And again, if it's something that an irritation of some sort, I don't know, it could be a rash. It could be a sunburn. I mean, I was out in the sun, had a little bit extra sun, that's a discomfort. So anyway, listen to your body. You're the only regulator that's operating that body. So, all right. Anything else, guys, you want to add?
No, sir.
Somebody stated here that they have an iPhone 6 with 6.3.6. Yeah, that version's too old.
Yeah.
If it won't upgrade any further than that, you can try it. And be honest, the pink dot will probably work. I'm just saying. The blue dot, probably not.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thank you so much for being here. I so much appreciate your help. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for our What's Up Wednesday call. There's going to be some great content there. We're going to maybe get a chance to see some of our customer service folks to say hi to us on the screen. That's going to be fun. And also reminders about our frequencies with friends coming up next week, beginning of the month. So tune in tomorrow for our call. Healy for beginners and beyond this week, yes or no?
We'll let you know tomorrow.
Okay, we'll find out
Keep it
tomorrow.
a surprise.
Hey, by the way, there might or there might not be a giveaway tomorrow. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, you might want to tune in. All right, tell everybody. Let's be on there. All right. Thanks, guys. So much appreciation for you. Big loves. I'll talk to you next week. Bye,
Good night,
everybody.
everyone.
Good night, everyone.